Okay. So whenever you have a requirement to create a table, what are the steps involved in it? Number one, you need to analyze whether you are going to create a master data table or transactional data table. Okay. Based on the data, you can analyze it, whether it is a master data or a transaction data.
Okay.
Okay. Let's say you have decided to create a master data table. Then what is the next step? You need to identify all the fields you're going to include in the table. So what are all the fields I need to have in that table? What is the third step?
Create.
Enter the field element.
One is you know the difference, right? What is master data and transaction data? You know the difference, right? Difference between master data and transaction data.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
How can you say that whether it is a master data and transaction data? By going through the fields. Okay. So let's say if you are creating student master data, means what it contains: student ID, student name, student phone number,
Then
student
phone
email
number,
ID,
student address.
student address, student email ID, etc. These are all master data. Okay. What is transactional data?
Pay
Student
scale,
payment
Student
details.
salary.
attendance.
If you are creating a table for student payment details, that contains the table
Trans-
contains student ID. Okay. And
Attendance.
let's say we are creating a table for student payments, student fee payments. That table might contain student ID as primary key and payment date, amount, and the due. This, when you look at this table, this is a transactional table. Okay, because amount will be changed very
trans-
frequently, right? It's talking about his student payments, which is a
yeah.
transactional table. Yes. Again, the primary key should be student ID. Okay. And as you said, employee attendance. What are the fields available in student attendance? Student ID is the primary key, and the date, attendance date. For example, if you are taking attendance on today, the date is February 11, 12.
But
Okay. And attendance hours, that is also a transactional table. But before creating a transactional table, what is the mandatory thing required? A master data is required. Not only in SAP, whatever the system it is, if you need to create a transactional data, first you have to create a master data.
Master data.
Okay. If you want to create employee salary data in the system, if you want to maintain employee salary data in the system, before that, what is mandatory? That employee should have a master data record. That employee should have a master data record, which tells about the employee, employee ID, employee name,
ID.
and employee department and employee address. That is the master data. Using that master data ID, using that master data employee ID, we are going to create transactional data. Okay. Clear? In all employee related tables, employee ID is the primary key, and which is mandatory, so that you can relate. Let's say you are looking at a record, employee record, whose salary is greater than 50,000, whose salary is greater than 50,000 in that table, and you want to know the name of that employee. Where you need to find that name?
Master.
In the master data table. Okay, you are not going to maintain name, address, and everything in the transactional data tables. You are going to create one master data table and maintain those master data details in the table. When you need those details like employee email ID, phone number, first you have to search for the transactional data table with some logic. If you get that record, if you want to know more details about the employee, like in which department he is working, okay, in which city he is working from, all this, where are you getting from? You are going to search in employee master data. Okay, clear? For everything, whatever the data you take, master data record is mandatory. Okay, using that master data ID, we are going to create the transaction data, right? So if you take your bank account example, in every transaction, your account ID is the primary key. Okay, so that the bank people can identify who did this transaction, because it is assigned to a customer ID or account number. Okay, so first thing is you have to decide whether it is a master data table or transaction table. Next, what is the next thing?
Domain.
You need to identify the fields.
Hmm. You need to identify required fields and primary keys. What are the primary keys of this table? That might be one primary key or multiple primary keys, right? Clear? What is the next step?
And
Define the data type and length and sort.
each field.
Okay, define data type and length of each field. That is very important. Okay, then
Technical
Go
attribute.
to the technical settings.
And the technical attribute.
so technical settings. It is master data or transactional data. We are going to we have already assigned it APPL0 for master data. It is APPL0, and for transactional data APPL1.
One.
Where we use that values
Delivery
in
class.
technical settings. No.
Data class.
Data class. Delivery class defines
Master.
is it an application table or customizing table. What is application table? Application table might be a master data or transactional data, right? Application data means it is business data. That might be master data or transaction data. We are not defining type of data in delivery class, but we are defining type of table. So is it application table or customizing table? Application table is for business data. Customizing tables are for system configurations. Okay. So after defining the data type and length, create
The technical settings. Get the table.
Okay, the table is relevant.
okay.
Exit.
These are the steps. Now, so whenever you see this asterisk symbol, what does that mean? That is a mandatory input. You have to provide the inputs. What is delivery class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must do.
So whenever you don't know about that option, keep the cursor and click on F1. Okay,
F1. I think F1.
F1. Okay, delivery class for controlling data transport for table installation upgrade. Just remember, it is type of the table. Is it a application table or customizing table? Okay. So let's create data element for this. So the data element is not there. Double click on it to create the data element. Assign local package. Yes, create it. Maintain the field label. I'll maintain only this two. So I'm using same name for domain. Node active domains available. Let's create it. Double click on it. Save. Char 10. I'll show you there are different options in domain like value ranges, sign, lowercase. So when you click on this lowercase option, when you click on this lowercase option, when you select this lowercase option, when you are creating the domain, so when you are creating the data in the table, if you enter uppercase letters, it will save only in uppercase. If you enter lowercase letter, it's going to save only in lowercase. If you enter in mixed case, that is camel case, it will save as it is in the same case. Okay, with the mixed case. If you don't select this, whatever the data you entered, in which case it is, irrespective of the case, it will convert everything into uppercase. Okay, whatever the data you enter in this table, in this field customer ID, it will be automatically converted to uppercase. But if you select this option, if you select this option, so if you enter in lowercase, it will save data in lowercase only. If you enter in uppercase, it will save data in uppercase only. If you enter mixed case, that is like this, one capital letter remaining small letters, it will save in the same format. Okay, clear? But if you don't select this option, what is the default thing? What is by default? Case uppercase. Are you following?
Will be saved in uppercase only.
Hmm. Okay, I've created customers. CNAME, activate the data element. Hmm. For city, I'll take standard data element. Why should I create again? Since I have a standard data element. And also country. Okay, why should I create again? I have a standard data element, so I'm just using them, reusing the standard data elements. Okay, you go to this, you double click on the data element, you can find what is the domain configured for it. Did you observe this? It is selected with the lowercase option. That means when you enter data in lowercase, it will save as it is in the lowercase. Clear? What about land one? For this, lowercase option is not selected. That means whatever the case you enter, automatically it will be converted to which case?
Uppercase.
Case? Yeah, right. Okay. So these fields are enough for now. Go to technical settings and maintain the technical settings. What type of table it is? Is it master data or transaction data?
Master data.
Yeah. Select APPL 0 for master data, APPL 1 for size category 0. See, so we are getting some error, right? So some warning, right? Enhancement category. Enhancement category for table is missing. Enhancement category for include or subtypes are missing. What is enhancement category? If you go to this option, extras and enhancement category, what it is saying, can be enhanced. Whether you have any plan to enhance this table in future, it is expecting those characteristics. Okay,
So
can be enhanced character type or numeric data, can be enhanced only character type data. Okay, cannot be enhanced. If you say This table cannot be enhanced. You cannot do any changes in future. Okay, that is the character enhancement, like table enhancement category. I'm selecting can be enhanced character type or numeric type. So that I am saying, okay, in future I may add character type fields to the table or numerical type fields. Okay, copy, activate the table. So this like this option is showing I'm not using MA and DT field. That's why this is saying application table should be a client specific. Okay. Usually we use customizing tables without MA and DT field. So this is a client independent table, right? We are not using MA and DT. That's why it is showing that information. What it is saying, okay, this is an application table. It is recommended to use MA and DT field. Okay. So if you want to add one more primary key, add like this. Now it is a client independent table. Since I've added one more primary key, MA and DT should be the first field of the table. Please remember, client number, this is client number, MA and DT should be the first field of the table and it should be the primary key. Okay, but usually we don't consider this as primary key when in our programs, but this should be a primary key in table. Okay, now activate the table. So no data in it. Go to table contents and create entries. Customer ID 100, customer name, name of, okay, took only 25 characters. No, looks like I took only 10 characters for customer name also. Okay, but please maintain a proper name, or let me change it. C name, right? I'll change it to 30 and activate the data domain. Now it is showing all dependents table for that domain. Okay, click on continue. So output length 10 is less than the calculated output length 10. Okay, so here output length should also be 30 in the domain. Otherwise it shows only 10 characters when you are displaying the output. It will store 30 characters and displays only 10. Okay, now table is active. Now create the entries. City, okay, and country IN. It is not the country name, okay, country code. Save 200, 200. Tokyo. So what is the country for the city Tokyo? What is the country?
Japan.
For Japan, country code is JP. Okay. Berlin, I, country for Berlin.
Berlin.
Which country?
Germany.
Yes, Germany. For Germany, country code is DE. Okay, save. Now go back. saved it, right? Why it is not showing? You know, we have 3 records. Did you observe? The city is saved in camel case, like we have entered in the same case, right? It is saved in same case. But I have entered customer name in normal camel case only, small letters only, but it is automatically converted to uppercase. Why that is? Why that happens? Because
By
of that
default,
lowercase option in that lowercase checkbox in domain level. City, for city, lowercase option is selected. For customer, lowercase option is not selected. Okay, in domain level. That is the difference. Clear? Now, is it clear till now?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the program now. Till now we have seen how to populate manual entries in the program level using type structures and how to calculate the values. Now we'll see how to select data from database and display as a output. Okay. Okay. Create the program. Type of the program is executable program. Click on save. Now, okay. So how can you select the data from database? Using select statements. And where you need to keep the data? In the program level. When you select the data from database table, and where you need to keep the data in program level?
Chart of selection.
Huh? Where you are going to hold the data in program level. So where you are going to keep
Internal table or
internal table or work area. If it is a single record, we are going to keep it in a work area. If there are multiple records, we are going to keep it in internal tables.
Internal table.
Okay.
data.
Before going to use the internal table or work area, what is the mandatory thing?
Parameter.
They should be
Linear.
defined. They should be defined. Okay. How to define work area or internal table? Data. Naming
Internal
convention,
table.
we can take any type like internal table IT or local table LT. We'll take IT. Okay. IT underscore data. This is our name. Like you can name anything, but that should be a meaningful name. Okay. When you look at that internal table, you should be able to say, okay, this is IT means, okay, this is an internal table. Okay. By looking at this, you should say
Data.
see data. I'll see, okay, that might be a customer data. Okay. Type standard
Standard
table.
table of
What is our table name?
Customer.
the demo customer.
Yes. Before that, in our previous programs, what we did, we created a type structure with the required fields and used the type structure here.
Okay, sir.
Now, we're going to use our direct database table reference. Work area. WA means I'm saying it is a work area.
The data type set demo customer.
Tell me what are the different types of internal tables?
Local data.
Types of internal tables.
Internal.
Standard table, sorted table, and
Customer table.
table.
Customized table.
Standard table, sorted table, and hashed table. These three are the
Hashed
internal
table.
table types. Okay. You should remember standard, sorted, and hashed.
Hashed.
Now we are using standard table. I'll explain in detail about each table later. Okay. Now, like we have defined internal table and work area, right? When you look at in the memory, what is the structure of this internal table or work area? Same. Here you can see, right? Whatever the fields we have here, same fields will be allocated in the memory for this internal table and work area. Okay? Clear? Now, how to select it? How to select the data? We need to use select statement. First, you need to identify whether you are going to select a single record or multiple record.
Select single record.
Okay, how can you decide whether you are going to get a single record or multiple record? How you know that? Based on the input what you are passing to the select statement, right? So what is the primary key here? Customer ID, right? So this table contains unique customer IDs. Customer IDs are not going to repeat, right? Let's say I'm selecting data by customer ID. How many records I am going to get?
Records.
How many records?
One record.
One record, because there is only one record for this customer ID. Okay.